Hello, this is Bobby Miles from Texas Skid Steer. Let's talk skid steers and let's talk skid steer undercarriages, and let's learn a little bit about them. I'm going to turn it over and focus on the skid steer loader now. Let's look at the main drive sprocket on this skid steer loader. This is what I call, a steel undercarriage when I'm talking about them. Let's look at the main cogs. Look at how thick these cogs are. Compared to my finger, that is really in good condition. Very, very nice main drive sprocket. And like I say, I refer to these as the cogs, and that's one thing I look at. I want it to be in that condition. That I would say that is about 90% left on that. And when I look at these main drive sprockets, I look for oil down in here, down at the bottom. If I see some hydraulic oil down in there, I'll walk away from that machine. That would mean most likely that you've got a drive motor that's leaking. Be a very, very expensive repair, so I definitely try to stay away from it if there's any hydraulic oil down underneath the main drive sprocket, or even if you look back behind the track down at the main drive sprocket, if there's oil there, or if you go underneath the machine and see oil, same deal, stay away from it. Be prepared to spend around $10,000 to fix it, depending on the extent of the hydraulic problem. Let's look at another one. This one is still in good condition as far as the cogs, but it's not as it's not as good a condition as one that we just looked at. Now let's look at another one. This is a different machine. Look at the cogs on this one. They've got a lot more wear. Now, they're not worn out. You can look at the end of them, and it's flat. It's still flat. You still got some flat surface here. When one gets completely worn out, this end right here on this cog will be sharp. You can cut your finger on it when they're wore out by doing this. Just cut your finger. That is when you can cut your finger on it, that is extremely wore out. Now, will it drive? When it turns, will it make the tracks move? Well, sure. But if you look up here on top, and you can see these drive sprockets, the cogs that are sticking through the track. Well, the thicker they are, the better, to move the track. And when they start getting thin, they'll still move, but they'll start skipping. They'll start skipping past here when they turn. And when they do that, they can start wearing out the track, which is a bad deal. Now, that's not an extremely expensive fix, to replace these. Right now, at this point in time, being the end of November 2016, I can get both sides replaced for about $1,200, and that's not terribly bad, So I wouldn't completely walk away from a machine because it had, worn out drive sprockets. But like I said before, if you look underneath it and you see oil down in this area underneath, now I will walk completely away from a machine over that, because that is a very expensive fix. Hydraulic leaks in the wrong places, underneath there or underneath the machine, can be very expensive. If they're underneath the machine, and I do mean crawling underneath the machine and looking, if it's wet, with hydraulic oil. That could be from what we call your main pump. And, you know, you can get into, you know, if you've got some drive motors out, your main pump's out, you talk about a $15,000 fix. Now, I can't show you that here at Texas Skid Steer because I don't buy them. I mean, I know what to look for and I stay away from them. And I'm not going to bring you or, you know, try to sell you a shoddy product. But that's what we're looking at in steel undercarriages. Now, you can look at this back roller here and notice that it's nice and slick. Well, I don't have any in poor condition here to show you, but if you're looking around at skid steers and you start seeing that this one, you know, it's right underneath the drive sprocket down on the bottom. If you start seeing that it's like got humps in it, you know, I mean, just humps. I mean, this is nice and slick. If you see humps, then, you know, that is a bad deal. I wouldn't say completely stay away from it if it's a bargain, but it is an expense that you're going to have to, you know, it's money out of your pocket. So that's something to look at. And, you know, these rollers here all across the bottom, I mean, they can be